Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday Talking Town. I wasn't even ready to do a show, let's be honest. I'm wearing the tattiest jumper I've probably got. I was just sat here, not feeling particularly well, talking a load of nonsense, let's be fair to the boys in the WhatsApp group, and then we said, let's do a show. So here we are, doing a show with a thrown together run sheet, and we'll see where we go. You probably won't hear much from me, because I am unwell, but I will throw a question or three into the chat, and then we'll see what the lads think about it. Don't forget, we have got a very special show that they did Friday night with the non-league paper editor. That is I know I'm biased, but a very good show. Well worth checking out. So do go back and check that out if you've got a spare hour, as I look out of the window and see the rain coming down everywhere. I've got an artificial turf and it's just flooded. Literally just flooded this morning. It was that much. But anyway, right. One and welcome, one and all. Andrew Lords, afternoon, everyone. Weird not having a game on Saturday. Need a show up tomorrow. Looking forward to it, as hopefully both teams like to play football. Right, get busy in the live chat. We want to read all your comments, but here are the lads, because I know a cough's coming on.
Somebody get the tables. Hard truth are here, delivering the truth that nobody wants to hear. The Cruncher and the Media Mogul.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we?
How we doing? It's been a weird weekend, isn't it? Pissing down. No football for us. It's been a funny one.
It's been a funny one. It really has. Talking of funny results, Plymouth just got absolutely annihilated 5-1 by Paulhurst Grimsby. I saw
Is that like Frank Lampard's derby and Paulhurst Grimsby? No,
I don't like Paulhurst winning games of football, but if he's going to beat Plymouth, that's great.
They've
Is
got
it
a
the
real
start of the wheels coming off, though?
Real stinking record down there, Matt.
It's like 14 games or something, isn't it?
No, yeah, Plymouth haven't won down at Grimsby. So are the wheels coming off? I wouldn't go that far.
Is it the start of the wheels coming off? Are they wobbling on the homemade go-kart?
I wouldn't say so.
They didn't have the same kind of side that beat Exeter, did they? Wasn't it? I think
there's about 6 starters, Matt, and there was a couple, 2 or 3 on the bench. I think they got a couple of injuries, I think, yesterday as well. Yeah.
You're right, because that was it Barley Bumba? He had to come on during the first half. I think they lost that defender, Scar, is it? I think
Scar went off. He went off.
Yeah.
Maybe the wheels are. Look, blimey, we've been waiting for this. We want the wheels to come off, don't we? Let's face it. Even Matt Badcock, editor of non-league paper, was going, get them gone. It was
like Monday night when I was reffing, and Matt kept putting in the WhatsApp 1-0 to Exeter, 1-1, 2-1 to Exeter, 2-2, and then it was 3-2, 4-2. And Matt was like, "It's bloody lot. They keep winning, don't they? How annoying! They're annoying, aren't they?"
A thorn in the side. It was a good game, actually. It was a good game.
I heard it was a good game. I posed the question on the live show Monday because it was just fresh off the 4-4. How do you watch football when Town have performed the way they performed? Look, my football knowledge is very much in the bin because I've been a Town fan all my life, and most of my life has been miserable and unhappy watching us lose or get a draw against Crystal Palace and call that a good result. So my football knowledge outside of Ipswich Town has been limited because I can't stand the fucking thing. How do you two watch a game of football after Town have performed as they did Saturday, Rich, Matt? I'd like to know.
Yeah, but it's we've watched enough football of Ipswich Town. When did I start going, Matt? 1984, right? So these things happen, and as you get older, I think you just look. I know last Saturday we've gone over it, and it was one of them games where you probably won't see, like I said on Friday, Matt, another 20 or 30 years watching Town. You just park that result, you move on, and just, look, there's football on all the time right now that you can watch. And I think as a fan, it's different as a fan as a player, isn't it? I think fans.
I can't face it. I can't. Like
well, I had to go for me lie down, didn't I? My traditional lie down when things go pear. I went down. I was all right after that. And Sunday I was fine, wasn't I? When we done this show last week, I was all right about it.
You know, when we're winning games of football, you both know I'm suddenly watching Super Sunday. Like, I'm suddenly really engaged with it and like, let's give me more football.
Well, it's easy to say, isn't it? But it's like you can't get too high and you can't get too low, can you? Like
that's the problem.
It was like you probably won't see that again this season. We might do. I mean, hopefully we won't.
If we throw away a 2-goal lead tomorrow night, watch the meltdown.
Oh my! Well, watch the meltdown with me on this show live on the post-match show. Good God, because I am a do as I say, not as I do. So I say, don't get too high, don't get too low.
I think it's because of social media now, isn't it? Like back in the 90s when Ipswich drew 4-2 with 4-4 with Charlton. You were at that game. Was that 1990, Matt? Boxing Day?
Was it that? Was it? I thought it was a bit later than that. Well, no, you're probably right.
That was John Lyle. So, right, 4-4. And we were winning twice then. Now, you probably went away from that. Look, I was a young cruncher at 14. You were a little bit older than me. But you go away from the game, you're disappointed. But you can't go on the socials. You'd never had a mobile phone. So, it was completely different. Whereas now, anything happens. When anything happens now in football, in life, you go on the socials and it's a meltdown. People have got an opinion, and you just with your phone, bang bang, there it is. It's like the fisherman, and that was having a meltdown yesterday. Lee Anderson, top work, stoking him up about the 2-day break.
That was Lee Anderson, you cheeky little devil. That was very well done.
I proceeded to get I think Mike sent me a 6-minute voicemail clip of
that's a phone call.
What football was like in the 60s with the pitches they played on then that players now wouldn't. There you go.
Funny,
brilliant.
Actually. You mentioned that.
Monologues. That's what you should call them.
They're phone calls, not voice notes. But funny you mentioned that because I watched the big match revisited yesterday morning over me cornflakes, Matt, and it was Wimbledon versus Leeds, and the pitch was absolutely dire, and the man of the match was the goalkeeper, Dickie. Can't remember his surname, but I really enjoyed it. It was really good, honest game of football, and they had Dickie in the interview in the studio the next day, and the replay was Tuesday, and he had to go to work all day. So he was like, "Yeah, I've got to go to work. I'll finish work and go to the." And I was like, "This is real football. You're
not too far removed, really, from like when Town won the league in the 60s. I remember Ray Crawford telling me he used to get the bus with the supporters. Can you imagine getting on the bus with Freddie Ladapo going to Portman Road? So I mean, I certainly think in modern times it's there's now a huge gap, isn't there, between Haaland and like the supporter base, isn't there? He's just seen on a pedestal. But back then, going from 60s into the 70s and even into the early 80s, I think, that people were probably used to seeing the players around town or doing a normal job or whatever. Certainly Roger Osborne went back to done a normal job, didn't he? I think he was a delivery driver or something.
Who worked in the video store?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure I've heard a story of someone working in a video store, but I might be wrong on that.
What year was that then? Wimbledon versus Leeds then, Gov?
Was it 19? I think I want to say 1975, but I don't remember reading.
If you watch football, then look at the tackling. I see a clip the other day, Matt, of Graham Souness when he was manager of Rangers against Aberdeen. It was on Twitter, and he's lost the ball, and he's literally kneecapped this guy. And the commentator says, "Oh, that's got to be a booking for Souness." And you think, today that's a certain red card.
I think he did the same in his debut for Rangers. As player manager, got sent off.
Yeah, I think did they have? Oh no, that was the Rangers game when Chris Woods and Butcher and McAvenny and they got in trouble. That actually went to court, didn't it? That.
Yeah, I think he did that game.
Yeah, I remember that.
You're right.
It was 75, and Dickie Guy was the man of the match. He said the Lorimer penalty, and it was the worst penalty I've ever seen in my life. And
the big match is a funny one because, like in Anglia region, we used to get match of the week with Jerry Harrison. So unless you had one of them tellies that could also pick up a bit of London, you'd only get big match. I'd only ever see big match if I went to my cousins in like Dagenham or whatever. Suddenly Brian Moore would be on the screen.
But the prehistoric version of a VPN, Matt. If you had a TV that got everything.
I was like, oh my God, the big match. I've heard about this.
Yeah. Often Town are on there. It was a
match of the week. It
was something to watch. But talking of FA Cup weekend, what sort of results have stood out to you this weekend? If I had to ask you to give me a team, I've got a couple of questions in the chat, which I'll get to after this this one because I still have a cough. But which team stood out for you, Rich?
I think if you look for the results, obviously, Chelsea, Barnet, a replay that'll be. Will you go to that local game?
Potentially, it depends when it is.
That'd probably be a TV game. I thought. If it depends on what sort of. There's a few replays. If I'm looking, Gov, you're probably going to look at Alvechurch, Southern Premier Central. We were talking before the show started. They're same step as Bracknell, aren't they, Matt?
Yeah, they're Alvechurch from Worcestershire, so they're in the central tier of that.
So they've gone to a League One team, Cheltenham, and they've beaten 2-1 with Danny Waldron scoring a brace.
Yeah.
So great result for them. They'll obviously be looking tomorrow night to pull out a big tie when Where is the draw from tomorrow? Is it at Bracknell?
No, I don't think it is. I think they'd do the draw at who's had the biggest result. I would imagine it's going to be Overchurch, but I could be wrong. Only because it's on the BBC Two and ITV have got the Bracknell game, so I wouldn't imagine they'd double up at the same place.
Maybe. So Darren Bent's on the ITV tomorrow night. If everyone's going to watch on ITV, or Darren Bent and Ian Wright will be on.
Nice. That's a strike pair, isn't it?
Yeah. Ian Wright is 59. He was 59 the other day. Can you believe? Ian Wright is 59.
No,
Wright and Bright were brilliant for Palace.
Oh, for Palace. That was a great cup final. Going back to the cup finals, Man United 3, Palace 3, and obviously the semi-final that year when they played Liverpool, didn't they? And they lost 9-0. They lost 9-0 in the league at Anfield, and then they played at Villa Park and they won 4-3.
Talking of strikers, obviously Ian says, "What are your thoughts on Wickham's second goal?"
Oh.
Give me those thoughts. But equally, if Kevin Phillips wasn't in charge of South Shields, would that have been a televised game?
Yeah, but you could say the same. I was speaking before we come on air. If the Americans weren't in charge at Wrexham, would Wrexham Oldham really be on ITV on a Sunday lunchtime? Probably not.
No, they've probably got. It might have something to do with it being shown in the States as well. I think maybe an international broadcast arrangement there somewhere, like you say.
Did you see the goal, man? Did you see it?
The Wickham one?
Yeah.
Got me thinking, should we take a punt on Conor
No,
Wickham?
I did see someone float it on the socials. Look, he's still only, how old's Conor Wickham, Martin? Is he 28 still? 28, 29?
He's got to be in his 20s still, sure. Someone tell us how old's Conor Wickham? He's got to be in his 20s still, I would have thought.
He's done quite well, Matt, at Forest Green since he's gone there. He scored a few goals. He obviously got 2 yesterday. Would I? No, not really. He's
29.
Injury prone.
He was great for us, though. Was it Sheffield United who runs the whole length of the pitch and scored?
Dribble through, round the keeper and in.
Oh, brilliant.
Never really had the career that you probably expected that he would have. No. Injuries and probably a very...
Injuries.
Yeah. He left us early, didn't he? I saw him play for England under 16s. And I was like, Conor Wickham, Ipswich. Never heard of him. Weird how things move on from there, isn't it?
Biscuit Legs 2.0 says Mike D.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions, but first of all, Matt, your team, please. Who stood out for you? Was surely Chelmsford City with that away draw?
It was great. Colin texted me when the goal went in right last minute, saying up the Clarets. Well, I mean, look, I'm looking at the non-league paper now. So Matt, who read on the show Friday, was obviously delighted because he's put the Fab Five, and they labelled Overchurch, Chippenham, Farnborough, Kings Lynn, and Chesterfield. By the way, everybody, Dobra scored. We could face.
That's who the goat wants. That's who the goat wants in the second round if we get through. Kings Lynn away.
I like the fact Chippenham. Well, I mean, it's a toss-up between Chippenham, I think, and Kings Lynn. Kings Lynn have gone to Doncaster 1-1-0, and Chippenham from the National League tier beat Lincoln. Who we going to beat?
Who did we get? Who did we get from Chippenham Town?
Mingsy.
There you go.
There you go. When he was a mortgage advisor.
There he is.
Yeah. So I mean, they're great results. I mean, and there's even a couple of other teams are in there. I think Buxton beat Merthyr Tydfil, so they're in the running. It'd be great. Farnborough
2-0 away. I know. Obviously, Sutton. You go back to Sutton when they beat Coventry, Matt.
Yeah, now they're a giant killing themselves.
Matthew Hanlon, do you remember that goal?
We got him to do the FA Cup draw one year. We traced him to like a insurance company or something.
I always remember because my boss supports Coventry, and obviously they'd won the FA Cup, I think, the year before. That reminds me going to pitches. If you go on YouTube and put Sutton 2, Coventry 1, look at the pitch there. It's like going and playing on the beach. There was sand galore on that pitch. But
that was massive, that result.
And they played today, talking about Wrexham, they got Mickey Thomas was on there. Do you remember his free kick against Arsenal?
Yeah.
What a goal that was.
He played for Man United, didn't he? I had to either, I can't remember where I did it. I either phoned up or emailed that Matthew Hannon and said, "Are you the geezer who scored the goal for Sutton?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "Do you want to do the cup draw?" He goes, "It's just a wind up."
Well, yeah, it sounds like a professional way of approaching somebody. That does. Are you the person?
I had no way of confirming it, did I? I'd heard it was possibly him. Actually, if you'd been winding me out, it turns out it's just some geezer.
Brilliant. Lewis asks in the chat, thinks tomorrow is just a case of how many we score. This is a part-time team who are falling from below us. Fair to play to them for getting this far, but our superior fitness and quality will show. So is that a case? Is it a case, Rich, of how many will score, or is it a case of you think it'll be a lot closer than that?
Yeah, well, I think we did touch on this on Friday. When you look at it, I'd be playing a strong team, Martin. I don't know what you'd play, but take it seriously. It should be a case of, look, they're going to come out the blocks flying. They should do. This is their biggest game in their history. But
yeah,
the quality that we've got, you can have 9 subs. He'll probably have a few academy players I'd have thought on there. Chihuahua might be on there. I'd start with Humphreys tomorrow. I think he deserves a start. But look, if we lose tomorrow, this will be the biggest defeat in our history. Lincoln was bad enough, wasn't it, Matt, when we were live on the Beeb?
At least they're football club again. Yeah.
If we lose to these, and we won't do, because this is Kieran McKenna. He's been here just over nearly a year. This is his first FA Cup game he's managed. He's not going to want to have that on his CV, is he?
That's a really good point. That he's his FA Cup game.
So go there, be professional. I think like when I was listening to the Bracknell's owner, I think there's like a 200-yard walk they have to do to the dressing rooms, which they're probably not used to. The players are normally dropped right outside. There's going to be different things, but we're professional enough now to get the job done and go there. And it might be a bit sticky for the first 25 minutes, and they might have the odd chance here and there. But I think in the end, it'll be about 4-0.
I don't play any senior player, Matt.
You don't play any senior player?
No.
So who you put in goal then?
Well, Heladke, okay.
Coleman. You're not giving Coleman a go?
Premier League experience.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Playing in the Prem.
Absolutely.
Who are you playing then if you're playing no senior players?
I don't know. I couldn't give you 1 to 11 because I haven't actually thought about it.
That'd be your take on it. I think that's dangerous because you've got, as Rich said, you've got to do a professional job.
But we're sitting here sort of sniggering about Plymouth playing 6 players, getting beat 5-1 and getting a few injuries. Yeah. But I don't want Connor Chaplin getting a hamstring out for 6 weeks, derailing my playoff push, my promotion push.
No, I get that.
Because you played against Bracknell.
We could easily do that in training, couldn't you?
But it's more unnecessary risk, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I get it. But look, they're footballers. Their job's to play football matches. That's what we used to say about Paul Lambert, didn't we? He's playing too many games. I think from the reasons Rich gave there, you need a bit of a spine of seniority in there. Otherwise, if you do go one down, where's your Morsey to cajole people to bring us back into the game or whatever? Look, I'm sure Cheltenham was saying exactly the same thing yesterday against Overchurch. And look what happened. They lose 2-1. And that was at home.
We didn't play Morsey last year, did we, at Barrow? He was on the bench. You had Tom Carroll and El Mazzuni striding around in the midfield. And what happened there?
I actually think that Barrow result was worse than the Lincoln one, albeit they were different. Lincoln were a league club that had gone to non-league and bounced back.
It's further to bloody drive.
Yeah. And Ian was with you there, wasn't he? Yeah, absolutely. That was just an awful performance on ITV4. Hopefully we can rectify that tomorrow evening.
Gaming with Robert asked, Matt, what are your thoughts on the Ladapo currently?
Going great. Yeah, love it. He's coming good, isn't he? I mean, look, you got the worldie against Charlton, worthy of a match winner. He was Johnny on the spot for the 2 goals at Port Vale. I just think people have just got to stop being so fickle around him. I think he's ups and downs. He's a roller coaster player, and a couple of games not really on it. 3 goals in 2 games. Can't
complain with that, I guess. Would you play tomorrow, Matt? Would you play up front to you, or would you play?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. I mean, look. Scoring goals, regardless of who it's against, is going to give you some confidence, isn't it? I mean, we said when he scored in the Papa John's, I'd give him some confidence. Well, I think keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going.
Pete Foy, Heladke in goal, Humphreys arming in Babau. Always Rich, help me out with that.
Babau.
Thank you very much.
I'll take one later because you need. I think you need that leader. He's played in the non-league. He played at Chesterfield, Matt.
Yeah.
Sam Morsey. I don't want to get down there and the thing is, play a better side, get 2 or 3 goals up, then you can make your changes. Let's not go down there. I know Gov, the FA Cup, we're not going to win it. We know we're not going to win it. But it's a game on the TV. This is why it's on the telly, because everyone's, other than New Supports Town, they want Bracknell to win. It's the underdog, isn't it? David v. Goliath. So play a good side and then get the job done, then make your changes. Because otherwise, Martin, some of these players are not going to have a game for 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I do think in November you might have
get that out of the system that they had against Charlton. Look, tomorrow night, perfect game for Richard Keogh to play with his experience at the back.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's
fine.
Well, he could be your
Kieran-
captain, couldn't he, if he rested Morsey? He could be your
I'd play
captain.
Kieran at the back. I'd play Morsey in midfield, and I'd play Ladapo up front. And then look, you can look around them what to play. I'll play a Humphreys in midfield. Probably you're probably going to play.
Yeah.
Did you know Cameron Burgess? He's got 30 screws in his face.
God,
30.
30.
I'd play him. I'd play him. I'd play Kane Vincent-Young. I wouldn't be playing Leif Davis-Martin tomorrow night. I think he needs a rest.
Yeah.
But in your front positions, you've got Jackson, you've got John Jules, you've got Chaplin, you've got Ladapo.
John Jules could get the nod.
Harness probably needs a goal, Matt, because his levels dropped off a little bit. I wouldn't say like majorly, but I think even Chaplin needs a goal. He's been a bit sort of not played that well the last 2 or 3 games. So if he can come in and maybe get 1 or 2 goals and take him off, gives his confidence a bit of a lift.
Carl Edwards seems to be a bit of a shout, isn't it?
You should have enough in those types of reserves, I guess, to win the game. But I'd be checking Leif Davis into a spa hotel and telling him just take 2 days, Leif. You look after yourself, mate. You take the R&R as much as you need on the company credit card because you're probably our best player at this moment in time, and we need to keep you fit. Another question came in regards to Lewis. A question: which formation have ITFC been playing lately? 3 or 4 at the back. He's asking for a friend.
We know where he's gone with this.
You've gone over my head with this. I don't understand.
It's a 4, isn't it? It's a 4 because this is when people say about Donasian, his form's dropped a little bit, and taking him out of the team and moving Edmondson over there. But if you're playing a 4 at the back, Martin, you're not going to play George Edmondson at right back, are you? So
Wolfenden will.
So if you're taking JD out and you're playing a 4, you're going to play Vincent Young there, aren't you, Matt?
That'd probably make sense. I would have no issue Edmondson playing over there. He's right-footed. So if he can play on the left, play on the right.
Well, why can't Wolf play there?
Abundance of options again, isn't it?
Because you played against Palace. I mean, albeit many years ago in the cup, he looked really good for all accounts, all intents and purposes. But
it was a really young team as well, wasn't it? That evening,
and it nearly won that game as well.
They
did really well that night. The young kids.
West Down's playing now. I mean, he was a player who.
He's in Europe, mate, with West Ham.
Some people said he'd never made the Premier League, didn't they?
He's not made it, mate. He's not made it. He's not made it. He's just playing some Europa League game. I mean, or conference game or whatever.
Europa League in Romania.
He played at Anfield the other week. In the Premier League.
That's not making it, mate.
Yeah,
I'm joking here. I'm joking. But people would argue that's not making it. Don't know why. Gino, a trophy is a trophy. All comes to be respected. He wants to pass up a trip to Wembley.
I do agree with that.
I do.
The problem with you're talking FA Cup there, but the problem with the Papa John's when we talk about that is it starts off in such a crap way, doesn't it? You got to play under 21 teams, then you suddenly get through to the qualifying rounds and out of the group stage, and suddenly it gets a bit more interesting, doesn't it? But
with 4 games from Wembley in that, guys.
Yeah.
Because obviously the FA Cup is, I'll come to that a bit later on in terms. But would a competition where you had all of the lower level clubs and League 1 and 2 in their own cup competition, and then the Championship up in their own cup competition, would that be a better format? Because you'd still provide the town versus, Bracknell situations, but it would also give them maybe a little bit more of a chance. Would that be a better format than what is currently? Maybe,
yeah, potentially. I feel at one point we are going to lose the competition. I feel it'd be the League Cup if one was to go. I always feel like that's the one the Premier League teams can't be bothered with. Perhaps it just needs another curveball option in there: Anglo-Scottish, Anglo-Italian.
There are too many cups. You know what Europa Conference, which obviously it further increases squad usage in the Premier League, and
that's the thing, isn't it? All these competitions come about when European football wasn't quite as lucrative as what it is now. European Cup was just the winners of the league playing each other in knockouts, not going home and away across a league format, which is what they do now. So yeah, there probably is too many competitions, in all honesty. I don't think the Papa John's helps itself though, right? When we've got to play Arsenal 21s and that, that's borne out by the crowds, isn't it? But once you get into, where we are now it gets a bit more interesting. Knockout competition.
Yeah. You are right there. You are right.
We've got a home draw and a home draw in that. I think there's. Yeah. I looked at the teams, Martin, that we could get, and we should be beating all of them really at home. And then you think, if you get through that, you're 3 games from Wembley. You are 3 games from Wembley, and like we said Friday, Town are one of the 6 who've never been there. And like Peter says there, if we went to Wembley and that, we would take 45,000, Matt. We would, honestly, and it'd be a great day out for the fans.
45,000. You'd empty Ipswich.
I
It'd be
think so.
45,000 there, 100%, because you get more tickets. It's not like the FA Cup final when you. Obviously, Matt used to work for the FA, so he was one of them hangers-on, Martin, who used to get them free tickets, didn't he?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
I was working. I didn't get. Well, I did get.
How-
tickets.
You know what I'm
how
saying?
did you
You
get
get
Yeah. You're right.
How
You
did
get
you
more-
How did you work there?
Yeah. Have I not
Did ya?
mentioned that on here before?
You've never mentioned that
mentioned it.
before. Wow, you get that quite
Oh.
right.
Oh,
Fair play
So
to you.
imagine the buzz. Imagine it. I know it's only the pizza cup.
I'll just
But
make a note
imagine
to
the
mention that in the future. Hold on. There we go.
Please
Done.
do, mate. Because you don't mention it after as much as you should do.
Well,
You
you
really
think
know.
back, Rich, you're right. You think back to Portsmouth, Sunderland in
Yeah.
what we've got Johnson Paints, I think, then. That was 90,000 there, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
what-
Look, we'll be there on Olympic Way, as they insist on calling it these days.
Olympic way.
Well, Gov's Wi-Fi works down there with all them people because you would normally. It's normally bad, isn't it, when we get 28,000 down there sometimes?
I'm
Yeah,
a big
true.
traditionalist as well. Like Olympic way,
So they call it.
Wembley way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Its
what would
official
you
name is
do with all
Olympic.
the gear? What would you do with all the lights and that? Because you wouldn't be able to carry them into Wembley, would you?
I don't know.
You probably wouldn't go. You'd
I
stay
know.
home watching the telly, wouldn't you?
No, I would not. Fuck no. Wembley.
Oh,
Come
you
on,
beat it.
son.
Oh, you'd be there.
45,000 people. That means there's got a good
I'll
chance.
tell you
of not bumping
what.
into a lemon.
I won't be. I can tell you now. I won't be going to the next round of the Papa John's at Portman Road.
Oh no, neither have I.
I can watch it on the telly. I'll watch it, but if we get to the semi-finals, I possibly might be there. But it's a good job that I went to Cambridge, Matt, in the Papa John's, because that was one of the 5 away games. You had to qualify for Bracknell
go.
tickets.
Hit that, yeah.
So what
Yeah,
if we
absolutely.
get beat Bracknell, beat Chesterfield, and then we get Liverpool away in the FA Cup third round? And they say you have to have been at the Papa John's game to qualify. You'll be upset, Rich. You'll be on that blower, putting every contact you've ever met,
Don't
saying,
worry.
"Give me a ticket,
Don't
give me a ticket, give me a ticket."
I
We'll
reckon
probably,
if
go
you
out in the second,
got,
we'll probably go out in the second round. Don't worry. We'll probably beat Bracknell and then lose to someone.
you'd have to
shit.
think,
Chesterfield.
if you had a ticket to the Bracknell game, you'd probably qualify for an away game at a Premier League team, would you not? One of the 300.
We've still got a few tickets that left this morning. I see Bracknell selling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Really?
yeah. What do
There's
you think?
been-
They only had 650 for the. Who did they play in the fourth qualifying round?
Yates,
I don't know.
is it Yates or Banbury?
Banbury, that was the one. So
Yeah.
650 for that game. So
Banbury.
you're thinking, look, it's going to be a great occasion for them tomorrow night. But let's just turn up there and just fucking hammer them.
Yes, I agree. What is your favourite FA Cup game then? Both of you. It can be a town one or another one. I always enjoyed the Arsenal-Newcastle final. It's one of my early football memories where,
2-0 one with an L.
yeah. Alistair Pistoni being absolutely made a fool of by Anelka, and I think it was Harper in goal. Might not have been given, but that was one of my early football memories. That stands out in my mind. That's not a favourite, but certainly stands
I
out.
do remember. So I certainly remember. Well, as a kid, I used to really like it when we went to a replay, Rich, on a Thursday night.
Yeah, it'd be
Do you
great.
remember?
I was like, if you look at
I used to like
when
that.
Palace played United, it was 3-3. Was it? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Jim Leighton then played in that
I know.
final, and Fergie chopped him, didn't he? And he played Les Seeley.
Liz Seeley. And then Liz Seeley gave Jim Leighton his medal. Rest in
Lee
peace, Liz
Martin
Seeley.
scored.
Legend.
Lee Martin. Now that is a name. When you look back from Man
Martin.
United's history, that was the first. I think that was the first trophy that Ferguson won, man.
Yes.
Because they beat Forest, didn't they? When they beat Forest 1-0 away, Mark Robbins scored on the BBC, and they always said if they'd have lost that game, Ferguson would have probably got the chop.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah, he would have done. Yeah. Yeah. It was, can you imagine the
Slide the doors.
sliding doors moment? Yeah, I always think back to the final Ipswich could have been in. Actually, the first one I can remember as a kid is '81 Spurs Man City, and Tommy Hutchinson scores in both ends. I was like, he scored an own goal. I'd like, I'd never even seen one of them on telly before. And then he went to the Thursday night and he got the Ricky Villa goal, the 3-2. But we should have been in that final. It was only Paul Power's free kick against us at Villa Park, which of course Colin and various others, I'm sure, listening right now, would have been to that game. But yeah, it could have been
Kevin Lee broke his arm, didn't he? In that.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Paul Power scored that free kick. So
Colin always tells me, I think he went to the semi-final, and then in the week we played Villa in the league there, didn't we? And we went and beat them.
we beat them. Yeah, we beat them home anyway. We still lost the league to them. Yeah.
Look,
Mike,
like we said Friday, it was great when the FA Cup was on the Saturday at 3 p.m. You had the build-up, didn't you, Matt, on the TV? You know, they'd follow in the helicopter. Oh, look, there goes the certain team's coach.
There's the coach. Yeah, you'd
They'd
be
all have a
drone.
song out, Martin. They'd normally have a really dodgy FA Cup song that they brought out.
white suits.
The white suit,
Liverpool,
Spice Boys.
Spice Boys.
Brighton. Do you remember Rich Brighton '84 turn up in a helicopter at Wembley? They travelled by helicopter.
Steve Foster in his headband.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was 2-2. Arnold Muren scored in the replay.
Yeah, they won that.
They won 4-0. So if I was going for a favourite FA Cup, look, I always remember the Norman Whiteside goal when they beat Everton when Kevin Moran got sent off.
Yeah.
You know, it's 1-0.
I
think if I'm looking for you always want it to be a shock. And you probably got to look at 87, Matt, when Coventry beat Spurs 3-2.
Great final.
Keith Ouch in the diving header. Clive Allen scored to go. I think 49 goals he got that
49.
season.
Imagine 49 goals. Clive Allen.
Gary Mabbott. And you look at that Spurs team that day. There's some really good players. Obviously, Hoddle was playing. Richard Goff was playing in centre. Yeah. But if you look at that final, Matt, look at the shirts that Spurs are wearing. Some of them have got sponsors on, and some of them haven't.
Yeah, is it Holston?
Yeah, I think it was. It was really weird because you think nowadays I was watching the Wrexham game and you see Wrexham sponsored by TikTok, obviously because of the links they've got. But you would never have a team now with some players running around with a sponsor on this shirt and some not. But yeah, then if you look ahead to the what was the famous saying when Wimbledon beat Liverpool, Matt? The crazy gang.
Oh, yeah, the crazy gang.
Club.
Yeah, the Culture Club. Yeah, yes, absolutely. That was a good final. Laurie Sanchez.
I just went back to something.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I mean, that was brilliant. I've always said, you know, if I'd
been therein lies your problem, because the further they dilute the FA Cup, the further new fans coming into the game at a young age
I agree.
are going to be disregarding it. Yeah. So in 20 years' time, when they're sat on a platform of their own making like this,
they haven't got that.
It will be seen as a Papa John's.
I agree with Ant Steele's comment there, guys, about semi-final back at neutral venues and a 3 p.m. kickoff for the final.
But it's never going to happen. Wembley, because people like Matt made a decision to buy Wembley.
So, Matt Phillips, do you think we should build Wembley? Yes.
See, fully full.
750 million. The problem is that you have, as Martin's quite rightly says, they have to keep generating the income to pay for Wembley. So you won't see. They can only do that at the semi-finals at Wembley because you can't get 90,000 in at wherever it might be, and they won't do a 3 o'clock kickoff because of the global audience now. You know,
and they're more likely the Premier League to actually play a game on the same day these days. Like, do you know what I mean?
That used to be the last game of the season, didn't it? And now it's the FA Cup final. And then the season probably finishes the week. Look, but when you get like 2 northern teams, guys, and you've got like Old Trafford can hold how many? 75,000, and they're trekking all the way down to Wembley normally with a late kickoff, hardly any trains. Look, they never think about the fans now, do they?
Oh, of course they don't. We're relevant.
Because you've only got to look, just going off a little bit on a tangent on one, you've only got to look at the decision to move the Town versus Peterborough game. 12:30 on the 10th of December. And on what? Police advice, because there's 2 World Cup quarterfinals that night in Qatar.
It's going to get lively.
It is going to get lively, apparently, in Solar City.
The problem you got with Network Rail, though, is they make all their decisions 2, 3, 4 years in advance of that. So, you know, the FA Cup always had to it's got to be on a date, hasn't it?
Yeah, but on that basis, Matt, you should be able to plan the fixture list around the 2-3 years you've been given the advance for.
Yeah, but newsflash, if you've got Man United in the final, Liverpool in the final, they're not all coming from Liverpool, Man United, and Manchester, them fans. They're coming from all over the country. So to say that they were all having to get back to the Northwest was always wrong. But you don't even get that amount of tickets anyway, because if Wembley holds 90,000, I think the 2 clubs would get 20,000, 25,000 tickets at the most, and the rest would go corporate, which is about 40,000 tickets.
It is sad, and I do fear for the FA
It's even worse in Europe with the Champions League, getting less tickets.
But they're changing that as well because they feel that's gone stale, and they're going to change the format to that. And they're always looking to change in how people enter it. You know, for me, I think the Champions League should be the champions. Of
how many years before we're there, guys? How many years before you're broadcasting at the new camp?
Well, it's a Spotify camp now, apparently.
You're getting right, Spotify camp.
Which surprised me.
Then they're moving out for 2 years as well because they're having it done up.
Where
they've got no money.
They're playing at the Olympic Stadium, apparently, Matt.
Oh, no, okay. Well, that's where Espanyol used to play.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I watched yesterday morning for everybody. I don't know if you've seen it on the BBC iPlayer. There is a fantastic documentary on Messi.
Is there?
Available. Absolutely brilliant. From when he was a kid.
All right, brilliant.
He was unbelievable as a child.
Ronaldo.
He's unbelievable now. Who?
Ronaldo.
No, not for me. It'll always be Messi for me.
I saw Espanyol in that Olympic Stadium at Montjuic, and they played Alaves. I think it ended up 2-2. But everyone was walking in, putting beer cans in their socks. I was like, what the hell are they doing? The bloke goes, you can't buy alcohol in there. Only alcohol free. So everyone was smuggling their own beers.
I can't wait till we have the TT jolly up and go and watch Matt's favourite German team.
What, the Frankfurters?
Eintracht.
Yeah. I think they're over there.
Yeah. TT on tour.
I did know they qualified.
We think the Blue Action do a great display, don't we, on match days?
Don't watch Bundesliga football. You'll see some unbelievable choreography in the stadiums. Yeah, it's amazing.
Pyro. I see the other day someone I see it on the socials about pyro and it's like dangerous. Fucking hell, you go abroad, does nobody tell them? We have a few at town games or some of the games you see over here. Over there, Jesus.
Get that in my veins, Mike D. That is the tonic. That is the antibiotic I need for this chest infection. Messi, what about Drinnen? Get it in my veins, Mike D.
In the German Cup, they kicked off the season with that, and Frankfurt were playing Magdeburg, and they had to delay the start of the second half because Frankfurt fans had like a rocket launcher and they were just shooting flares onto the pitch. So it's like red mist descending across the stadium, actually firing onto the pitch.
You see, for an asthmatic like me, I ain't a big fan of flares.
You'd be struggling, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So I sit in that cobblestone, they let one off, and it's like, come on. You know, normally the away section, because it just drifts this way and it just comes over.
Don't worry, we touched on that on Friday night when we were on about stadium development. So I think that's phase 3, isn't it? Knocking down your stand.
Hey, I'm amazed it passes safety certificates every year, to be honest with you. So, it does need doing. I'm not going to deny it does need doing. But there's a lot of history there, obviously, from personal speaking. But
I think going back to your original point, though, about the cup and you haven't got those big moments that are life changing for a kid. I mean, if I didn't support Ipswich, I probably would have ended up supporting Wimbledon because I was so ingrained in that story of the crazy gang.
They were great,
Vinnie Jones and all of that. It was like you rightly say,
West Ham. You would have been West Ham 100% with all your family links.
Yeah, it's weird that they can't understand why I've always gone with the town.
They're a better team. Kevin Gates, what about Sky moving our game with Exeter from 4 to 12 on Saturday in November? We got to leave at 3:45 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but
you don't have to go, though. You don't have to go, I would say.
Well, I would say that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. TV companies don't care about that.
That is what I thought as I read it, but I didn't want to go there. Cheers, Rich.
I would say the last thing Sky are thinking when they're around the table working out what the live games are. But what about those Ipswich fans who've got to get up at something? That's not even in their thinking, most likely.
No, because they say what I say.
Audience again, isn't it? Yeah.
I've got a question for you two. Talking about the FA Cup, what was the best final that you remember over the last? I don't know, like recent years. We don't even think about the FA Cup final and think
the Pardew dance, because just how it ended. Because he was. They were romping it and he was dancing and it was all going Palace's way. Yeah. And then typical Pardew fashion, like Alan Partridge, it went completely the wrong way.
I always thought we were moments away from getting him as a manager under Marcus Evans. It always felt like he could be one of those managers. I was like, I am ripping my season ticket up if he's in there.
Ashley Bell's got a good one, and so's Mike D. The West Ham final, the Gerrard final. When
Gerrard goal was unbelievable.
Even I'd say when Liverpool beat Arsenal, guys, when Michael Owen scored them 2 goals right at the end. That was when it was obviously at the Millennium Stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Watching that. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought Michael Owen up actually, because I was going to ask you the question. Because during the week, Michael Owen compared himself to Kylian Mbappe and believes he would be worth a similar fee, so £100 million plus player. Is he right to think that?
What was he talking about on the goal that he scored against Juve? Did you both see it? Mbappe's goal. What a goal!
So it was an article. You have to go and search it out. But he was basically comparing himself to Mbappe, and he would be worth £100 million plus. Is Michael Owen right? Because I think he is. Because I think he was a player that burst to the scene, overplayed, injury, but with Ballon d'Or winner. Like, we forget how good he was.
The goal against Argentina in the World Cup.
Like a swan. Just graceful.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. But certainly at that young age, teenager coming through, scoring worldies, he would be, because people would take a punt.
You probably look at, when did he burst onto the scene, as Micah Richards said? He was 16, wasn't he? I think he scored at Wimbledon. He scored at Wimbledon, didn't he, for Liverpool? He came off the bench. Right. Yeah. You think, Matt, though, he had too many injuries, hamstrings, didn't he, in the end, that hampered him. Look, he went to Real Madrid. He had one season there. I think he scored in the Clasico. So I don't know. It was when he was burst onto the scene. He was a good player, wasn't he, Owen?
Well, the best player we've ever produced in this country.
I remember he got the hat trick against Newcastle. I think that was a Super Sunday game. He scored. They won 4-0.
He scored in the Germany 5-1, was it? He scores in that, didn't he?
A hat trick.
Oh, it was the hat trick game, wasn't it? Yeah.
A little and large combination, Heskey and Owen.
Yeah.
And when you go, you look at talking about Owen, and then you look at the players that England had in that era, and we never ever we should have produced more then, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, he was part of the golden generation they were calling.
Yeah.
Anything but really.
I think in today's modern football, he would be a player that had a fantastic career without injuries. I think he was brought onto too quickly, played too often.
Well, there you go.
Back, it wasn't sports science then, was it? Back then,
if you need the fisherman on here, because he'll say, "Oh, they're mollycoddled nowadays." He is a prime example, Martin, where you would have been able to rotate him. He wouldn't have played every week. You'd have kept him fresh, and he probably wouldn't have had so many injuries.
Yeah. Back in the late 90s, players were you were probably questioned, like, are you good to go? And players want to play. Players want to play football.
Yeah. But then if you compare, if you're asking Liverpool fans though, Matt, Fowler or Owen, I reckon over 60-70% would say Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, but why is that, Rich? Because of how Owen ended his career at Man United.
At Man United,
There's two clubs you don't go to if you're a Liverpool hero: Everton and Man United. And
he went to Leeds, didn't he?
He did.
And Man City, I think he was at. But I think probably he kept in touch with his roots a little bit more.
He was God. They called him God, didn't they?
Yeah.
You talk about Robbie Fowler and talk about kids being impressionable and all this. Nowadays, an adult, you hear, "Oh, you shouldn't do that because kids are watching." Fowler's celebration where he sniffs the white line
against Everton.
Yeah, but as a kid, I just thought it was amazing. I didn't understand anything behind it. I just thought it was a funny, oh, wow, what a great thing to have done with the white line. Because kids don't look at it like that. As adults, you would have gone, oh, kids are watching that. It's impressionable. As a kid, I knew fuck all about it. I just thought, wow, what a great guy and what a great celebration.
Was he like answering media speculation or stuff that was coming from Everton fans, wherever it was at the time? I can't even remember back. But everyone remembers that though, don't they? Yeah. Same as
so he manages in Australia now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Harry Kewell does as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was listening to McKenna in his podcast, Matt, in the week, and he said he's always ringing him up. He wants to manage in England, Fowler.
Interesting.
Well, when Kieran moves on, get on the blower. Get on. I do like Fowler.
He says that I don't know if you remember the hat trick he scored against Arsenal, and what was it? 3 minutes.
Yeah, there is Mike D. Fowler's hat trick.
Yeah. Back when Liverpool were a mid-table team with McAteer and.
He never really did it for England, though, did he? That's different. Fowler never did it for England. Owen had those big moments for England.
He wasn't in the team for England, though, was he, Fowler? He was often overlooked for
he was.
The alternatives, like Sheringham.
Look, you had Shearer. You even look at, like I said, Ian Wright's on tomorrow night on ITV. Even Ian Wright, Matt, didn't really cut it for England. Great goal scorer for Arsenal, wasn't he?
No, I would say the same with Cyril Regis. Brilliant player in the top flight, but never really made it for England. Weird that, isn't it? Weird.
Oh, Carrie was at Celtic now. There you go. Look, is he still married to the actress who was in Emmerdale? Is it Cherie Murphy?
Oh,
yeah.
He was at Oldham, wasn't he, a little while ago? Well, yeah, because they've got an Aussie at Celtic, haven't they?
He was a good player. He was a good player, Harry Kewell for Leeds. When he went to Liverpool.
Another injury, though. Another player that probably nowadays would have been more, like data science and things like that.
Played in that game, didn't he? Played in the Milan Champions League Gerrard final. Harry Kewell.
He did.
Even Jimmy Traore played in that, and he was absolute dog shit. He's got a Champions League medal.
I know it ruined their club for a period, but that Leeds team, was really shit in the early 2000s.
David O'Leary's team.
Yeah,
they're just babies. He used to say.
But it was a great team. Like, I know it ruined them financially for a long time, but it was a great team. Like, they had some good moments with it. To be fair to them, but
they were disciplined, weren't they? Like, even that Alan Smith was like, he would not go out anyway. He was teetotal. He was totally committed to. Yeah, but I don't suppose you would have that attitude with Leeds, would you? It's kind of a different.
And their blue kit was lush.
Yeah.
Bowyer.
No, Rio Ferdinand started.
He did before he got
Right.
sold for 18 million. Yeah. He's another
18
player
million.
nowadays. Yeah,
18
he'd go.
million. How much would he go for
Oh,
nowadays?
stick a zero on it. If Stones has gone for 50, then Rio Ferdinand is worth 100 mil plus because he was a quality
how much
player.
did Van Dijk go for? 75 million?
There you go. It's what I mean.
What?
And Rio Ferdinand can do it
Van
all.
Dijk, great player. I'm not saying he's not, but if you look at, he's done it for what, 2 or 3 years, Matt? How long did Ferdinand do it for Man United?
A long time.
Yeah.
A long time. A
Different
long
class.
time. Oh,
I have to say, talking of Bowyer, I used to like Bowyer and Bullard in midfield for Town. It just had an element of rascalness to it, didn't it?
The diamond we used to play. You know, that was. It was a diamond. So not very old, tiring diamond, but it was a diamond.
Scored the winner. He scored the winner at Upton Park one night, last minute winner.
Brilliant.
Wasn't it one of their last games at Upton Park as well?
1-0.
No,
I think it
might be one of our last games at Upton Park.
Well, it might be not,
Yeah.
When we make it back to the big time, I'm not going to have a clue who plays where because all the grounds have been changed and no longer exist where they were. Like Highbury's gone, you know, Upton Park has gone.
Ian Davis's comment there, Matt, in the chat. Rio Ferdinand, the poor man's Ian Cranston. Although Rio didn't wear a headband, Ian. He wasn't a headband, did he, Ian Cranston? He must have cut his head open a few times.
I don't know who Ian Cranston
You don't even remember him, do you? I remember him playing in goal. Do you remember him playing in goal one night at Sunderland?
I don't remember that, actually.
He had to go in goal. I think we lost
At
1-0.
At Roker Park?
Yeah.
He came in after sort of like, he was like the understudy to Butcher, wasn't he? When
he was a good player, Cranston was.
Yeah, he went. I think he went Stoke after us.
Yeah, he went to Stoke. I think Mick Mills signed him to Stoke, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
There you go. Butcher and Mills, they'd be worth a lot of money as well in today's money. But good times, you know, overall. Absolutely. But Vidic and Ferdinand were immense, says Mike D. Arthur says, interesting to hear the nostalgia. I used to see Alf walking the Dongan Valley Road as I cycled to work. See, I hope you can tell at home we had no run sheet, really. Literally, it was just a 12. It was a 1:35. Shall we do a show?
This is great chat.
Go on,
this is good.
Let's do a show. Go on in. But good stuff. I really enjoyed it.
It's interesting you say like when we get back to the big time because I always feel like those clubs that aren't going to win your Premier Leagues. I used to lump Newcastle into this, but that kind of middling tier of the Premier League, right? Or Wolves or wherever, or Burnley under Dyche, they should be going all out to win the FA Cup for me.
But they don't because you see when they play and they rest a whole 11 and you think you're comfortable in the league. Why don't you give your fans a day out? Because finishing 12th in the Premier League, all well and good, you're going to earn a few million. But that doesn't come on your honours. Although Norwich...
Who would have Norwich?
Having their honours, Gov.
Jeremy Goss, wasn't it? He got the goal. Isn't he their idol? Jeremy Goss, is he the one that scored it?
Yeah, Bayern Munich, good goal.
Yeah.
That's how much they obviously idolise him, that I actually know his name because they've spoken about him forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Whereas, we're talking about the Beat, Mick Mills, Butcher... Crawford, real heroes of the game. No one goes to Norwich if they're anybody in the game of football.
Those clubs, those kind of clubs should be looking to make a. Well, I mean, Leicester have done it, haven't they? They won the FA Cup and the league, of course. But I mean, I just feel like if we get back there, when we get back there, I'd like to see Town making a bit more of a.
Is it fair to say Chris Sutton's Norwich's greatest export? Which kind of says his own story.
Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce,
But then is he associated with Norwich more than Man United? Really?
Ended up being manager there.
Well, that's coming. That's probably going to be coming in their future, the way they're playing about. But you got Bellamy, Sutton, Ewan Roberts. I mean, we're hardly talking.
Bellamy. They reckon he was so annoying as a youngster at Norwich, Matt. When they used to go on away games, sometimes, you had your toilet on the coach. Sometimes the players would lock him in there. Because I reckon he just annoyed everyone so much.
His book, actually, his autobiography is very good. It was written by Ollie Holt from the Mail on Sunday. It's actually a very good read. Yeah,
Darren Huckabee, he's probably their best player growing up for me. He would often torture Ipswich Town. He was a very good player, to be fair. Don't know how they got hold of him from Coventry, wasn't it?
Yeah, the clock is ticking. We will meet again soon. It's coming.
Oh, it is.
I've got a Norwich supporting, mate. I keep saying to him, "Your decade of domination. The clock is ticking." We'll see you again soon.
Agent Smith is operating under
enemy lines. They had a win yesterday. There was a great clip from that game yesterday at Rotherham. So the ball's gone in the crowd, and this guy's got a long throw in for Rotherham, and he gives the guy his hoodie to dry the ball.
Yes, I saw that.
You said it.
Yeah,
throws it on, and he lobs it back to him. There you go.
They lost that game, didn't they? 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 to Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can't. We don't want Agent Smith losing every game, making it obvious. You got to sprinkle a few wins in there.
If the best part of this week for anyone who's on social media, all you need to do to put in your search bar is Norwich QPR. That's all you need to do, because you see it, Gov. It was an absolute classic, wasn't it?
I saw a video of a teenager getting a round of applause parade as he goes into school, and the caption was the 6 foot plus 18-year-old going into school the next day in Norwich.
I see it on the they had the caption, on your Sky Score Centre. Norwich 0, QPR 1, 6 foot, and then it got in brackets 18 for the minutes. Do you know what we're talking about here, Matt?
Kissgate, says Daniel.
Oh, come on. Kissgate. There you go. That's what it was all about. Kissgate.
Yeah,
I'll check it out. I'll have a look.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah. So you got to see it to believe it. Really, one of those.
Louis Donowa. There's a blast from the past. He played for Town, Matt, didn't he?
Yeah.
Gino says, "Is Cruncher going to introduce himself to Fish, Bracknell's number one?"
Yeah, I heard about Fish. Is there? Fish is their number one fan.
Is this their review?
I don't know.
He's behind the goal, I was told. That's where he normally goes
we'll
to
be
get
down the road. Colin's driving tomorrow, so we'll probably be there about 3:30. Although he did send me this morning, guys, the printout from the AA route planner. You know when you used to print it out off your computer? In so many miles, turn right.
How did we ever drive whilst looking at that?
I've got no idea. Polo Power tomorrow. We're going by Polo Power.
Has he not got the AA book? You having the side.
He's probably got the atlas in the boot somewhere.
Yeah,
we'll be down there by we'll be down there by about 3:30 tomorrow. We'll be soaking in the atmosphere.
Are you going to do the match day ticket tomorrow morning with the draw in the background?
Yeah, pre-game. Yep, we got good little team tomorrow evening. I'll just have a look at the diary. We've got obviously going to do the match day ticket.
I might pop on. If I've got a signal down there, I might pop on pre-match so people can soak in the atmosphere. What's the ground called again? What's the ground?
Watson Meadow.
That's the one. Bottom Meadow.
We've got Coxey
one of the food trucks.
Looking good
and
down there.
Tuxford, our non-league expert, Mark Tuxford.
Who's on? Tux and who?
Yeah, Coxey.
Good stuff.
Good little team, that.
Tux
Good little
team.
Yeah.
From his hiatus.
Yeah, he's quite well, But I thought non-league. He writes for the non-league paper.
Nice.
Good opportunity to.
Good stuff.
Unlock the brain. Real Fox come from Ipswich, says Trevor.
Yeah,
I played against Real Fox's lad, I think, as a kid. I was once tasked with marking Jack Ainsley out of a game. If you can, there you go. That's the claim to fame there.
How did it go?
Very well. I was very good in my day as a kid.
Did you clatter him early?
It was when puberty hit that the fucking issue was, because they all got bigger and I stayed the same.
Will Fox was manager of Witton Albion, wasn't he?
Witton United.
Win United, was it?
It was, yeah.
Green and white stripe.
Yeah, Jack Ainsley. He played for Trimley as a kid, and I played for my team, and he was their best striker.
I think during COVID, Stuart done a few games co-coms on Suffolk, didn't he, Stuart? He was very good. He was good.
He did. He was a striker back then, So he was their best player in the league, and I was tasked with marking him out of the game. And my granddad was old school, so when you marked somebody, you didn't do anything else. You just literally followed them around the pitch. That was your job. You are man marking this striker. If he goes and stands in the corner flag, you go and stand with him. And I was big on trash talking. So in the end, it was great, because in the end, I got, I just kept doing that all day in his ear.
Yeah. Bit of smack.
Oh, I love a bit of smack as a player, mate. Even as a kid, the problem was, as an adult, remember a game, first 5 minutes, I was talking smack in his striker's ear, and a ball 50-50, and I said, I'm going to have you here. And I kicked him and broke my foot. Played 90 minutes on a broken foot. It was the worst
I heard that. You said that before.
But I was talking trash to him, and then after that, I didn't talk trash at all, because every time I moved,
it was agony.
It was, and I thought, what's a grade A plonker, Rodney? 50-50. I'm having you here, and I kicked his boot and broke my foot.
Anyway, South Needham Market yesterday, 2-0.
Yeah. 2-0.
Sky Sports though. Sky Sports. What were they doing?
They put it as 1-1, didn't they?
Oh,
I was going, come on.
Yeah, it should have been on TV. All right, a couple of questions to end the show. A couple of quiz questions. 4 questions. UV, Matt, Rich, you first. The 134th final of the FA Cup was played between Arsenal and Aston Villa. How many times previously had the two sides met in the final?
Oh, God, that's difficult.
I'll go 6.
Okay. Never.
I was going to say never.
That was their
Yeah, I was
first,
going to say that, yeah.
first and only final. Matt, on 18th of January 05, Liverpool's Traore scored a comical own goal to knock Liverpool out of the FA Cup. Against which team?
Oh, remember that.
Having a Waterlooville.
Incorrect. Rich, do you know?
Burnley.
Correct. Yeah, it was Burnley. Yeah, it was Burnley. Yeah, and I remember it wasn't it like a circular back
Jimmy
heel.
Traore.
That was funny. I do remember it.
I could have had the first question. I knew that one.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
1-1. 1-1.
Which team was the first to win the FA Cup at the Cardiff Millennium Stadium?
Oh, what year was that?
Oh, well, if I told you, you'd know. So that's a hint that you can't have.
I'll go Chelsea.
Oh, Matt, do you know? Because it's not Chelsea.
Arsenal.
No, Liverpool. They beat Arsenal 2-1.
Oh,
Remember Michael Owen making Tony Adams look a little bit old. That was great.
We're doing well here.
And, Matt, last one for you.
Yep.
What country did defender Mark Lawrenson play for during his international career?
Oh, come on.
Republic of Ireland.
It's easy. Come on.
All right, what's the name of the company become the first sponsor of the FA Cup?
Is that Rich's question?
Open question. You can either of you answer if you know it. First,
I do know that. I
thought
Go on,
you
Matt.
might. Rich?
I don't know. Actually, no, he worked for the FA.
Budweiser.
Nope. Littlewoods. They sponsored the FA Cup from 94 and 95 and 97 and 98.
Ooh.
Hey, Littlewoods, remember those? They were the top of Tower Ramparts, Littlewoods.
Yeah.
Good old times. Good old times. There you go. There you
Can I
go.
win
There
that?
we go.
Can I win that then?
We'll call it a draw because I can't have you two. I can't have you two bickering with each other. But no, it was good. I enjoyed today's show. Do you want to end it off? Do you want to sign it off? Do you want to say anything before we go?
We can talk about the goal of the month for
You can. While you do that, I'm just going to go and.
What's
have a
the
cough.
list of what was the other goals that were in there?
Oh, Freddie Ladapo, Carl Edwards.
Well,
don't know
Carl Edwards won it for a cross.
As you should.
I don't know what you think, Matt, but was it a great goal? No, it wasn't. Did he mean it? No, he didn't, because if he meant it, he wouldn't be playing in League One. That's all I'll say on that one. He didn't mean it. Come on, it's a cross that he's tucking.
It's similar to the Ronaldinho one, isn't it, in the World Cup against David Seaman, the free kick. Do you remember? And he sort of floats it to the back stick and it goes in.
Over him.
That kind of vibe. Isn't it? I loved it though. I was sliding on my knees on that one. Yeah. You back, mine? You back?
I am back. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
listening to you two.
Yeah.
I think
I agree with Andy Steele. I would have given it to Cameron Humphreys.
I'd give it to Edwards for the second goal. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but he wasn't in there, so you can't have that.
No, but it should have been because it was probably the best, the better goal.
Anticipated it nicely.
And then he's curled it with his outside of his
Right?
boot. It was.
Yeah, Humphreys was a good goal. What?
Yeah.
But I was going to say before we go, Rich, do you want to give everyone an update on the sensory pack?
Yeah, if you weren't watching on Friday, if you weren't watching on Friday's show, why not? And you can go and watch it back because it was a great show.
Still previous Bracknell games.
It was no Messi. No Messi was in the house, but Xavi and Iniesta were pulling the strings.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously spoke about Martin's funeral. Martin Swallow is on the 24th of November at the West Suffolk Crematorium at 12 p.m. and no black, only blue and white, and there is no flowers. You can contribute to the Ipswich Town Disability for century packs. I don't know how much they are, Matt. You asked me this morning. I don't know how much a pack costs, but I thought we'd float an idea. Look, we're quite good on here at raising money, and there's several people who've already donated, and I think we've raised £265 already towards that. So if anyone wants to just contribute a few quid, contact me on the socials, and let's see how far we can go. Yeah, if we could get to free. Look, I thought if we get 100 quid, we'd be doing well, but it never sort of fails to amaze me, people's
it's brilliant
generosity, and I'm really looking forward to it. And another thing I'm looking forward to is Wednesday week, the FCAs. I will be going.
I messaged about that. Yeah,
I will be accompanied by Stephen Parry.
He's going to be there.
Pick up the beep.
Amy Downs is making the trip.
There we go. Bring home that silverware.
Yeah,
love it. Love it.
We're on it.
Last question before we go, just because it's hit me. Matt, are you going to pay for your blue tick?
Yes, I am, because I think
It's
it
a
would
white
a lot
one
of people-
now, because if you get something wrong on the socials,
I ain't fucking bothered. There's a white tick, blue
Come
tick,
on.
red
No,
tick, whatever
I'm
the
not-
tick might be.
Hey,
I'm not going to. In actual fact, a lot of people think Twitter might disappear after all this.
Oh,
Elon
aren't
Musk
we?
stuff.
Aren't we could just pull the plug, Elon. Just pull the plug, mate. You've got enough money to just pull the plug, call it quits. We move ourselves on.
You don't need to be on Twitter anyway. Come on our Discord if you remember. It's great.
Absolutely.
We had some
links
talking
in the
town.
chat.
We've been talking Cup Winners' Cup today. Ipswich versus Innsbruck.
Nice.
Check it out. It's all on now. It's good.
It is. But you're not, just to clarify, you're not going to pay the eight quid or 25 quid or whatever it is to. Would you, Rich? Would you pay for that to be verified as, the cruncher,
it is.
ITFC's best journalist?
Oh, don't go there. Come on.
ITK
No,
crunch.
look, I don't
Change
need
your
a-
name to
I don't-
ITK
I
crunch.
don't
can
need
you?
a blue tick to pump my ego like some.
No, you can just do it yourself without paying for it.
There you go.
I won't be paying for it. But anyway, we're back tomorrow night. Pre-game show, post-game show. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday if the weather clears up. But thank you very much to the Mogul
This
for
is raining. It's raining
with
all
us.
afternoon. Stay in the warm. You might even treat yourself and put the heating on for an hour.
Torquay Derby's on the telly in a minute. That'll be a good game.
I had to put the heating on.
Hox has made the trip. Hox has made the trip down to Plainmoor to see his mate Loach sit on the bench.
Brilliant. Good old
He's on the
Hox.
bench, did he?
Yeah, they played a full strength team. Yeah, there you go. Play your
There you
full
go.
strength 11, Town.
Mm.
Don't get
Well,
caught with your
Warren's
pants down.
doing it. Maybe that's the way to go. Because
See that lad again. What's his name? Caskin, was it? Caskin? Was it the defender?
Oh, the one that Martin likes.
Nine lights, yeah. The Irish
Erin Cashin, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
quality. Rolls
See,
Royce.
You should have dropped a poll in there. Who's a better younger player, Cashin or Wolfenden?
Cashin, without a shadow of a doubt.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
100%.
he's probably. Yeah,
Shadow
Anyway,
of a
shout out
doubt.
to Wolfie. Shout out to Wolfie because he's become a dad.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, to a
Brilliant.
daughter. Congratulations.
Yeah, brilliant.
Congratulations from all of us here at Talking Town.
Oh,
Welcome to
shagger.
Sleepless Nights. Welcome to the Sleepless Nights Brigade. Early mornings. R4 he was up this morning, mine. Oh, my
R4?
God. Yes, R4. I was not happy. I was
Anyway,
like,
Can I just reveal? I haven't told you yet. We will be doing a Talking Cricket very soon because it's T20 semi-finals week, Matt. We're there. England
Not where I
against
thought you were-
India.
not where I thought you were going with that.
Morning.
Who's the kid that's
2,000 in the MCG this morning for India versus Zimbabwe.
who's the lad who's getting all the headlines? Supposed to be the best batsman in the world. Who's that kid? Begins with
Ian
S.
Davis.
Suryakev for
Is that
India.
him? Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I think you got 61 today off about 20 odd balls, but
Yeah.
England will have their number on
Wow.
on Thursday, and then the final this time next Sunday. We will be hopefully celebrating England winning, and I might have to pull the T20 pod
See?
out.
Yeah.
We've got
We
some
will,
of the
we will
finest.
discuss this, Martin. We will discuss when we can fit it in the diary because it's a very
We've got some of the
jam-packed
finest cricketers on the Talking Cricket show. You've got some of the best batsmen in Ian, some of the best fielders in Brandon. Like, you've got some of the greatest local cricket players on the. He's a chairman, so he's best local chairman. What does he play?
Rob plays.
Does he? I didn't know. I thought he was just a chairman. I don't know. I'm not
No,
involved.
look, Ian's ruined it all. He says India-Pakistan final. Now, if it is India-Pakistan final, that will be something to watch because that will be expected.
We're virgin here. You can tell there's no plan. Right. And he's Matt. He's Rich. I'm the Gov. With love, with care. We'll see you.
You make me smile.